Okay, guys. Yesterday, let me get my thumb out of the picture. Yesterday we did a rescue. Let me just. I want to show you guys something real quick. So I'll show you the fish in the tanks. One thing you guys want to do when you rescue a bunch of fish like this, I don't feed. Um, I don't feed any flake. What I'll do is I'll go to the store and get some Cyclops or I don't have the picture of it, but they're um, Cyclops or Daphnia, which I do have here. This is the Emerald Entree box, but I used it Emerald Entree too. But Daphnia, which is right here, use baby brine um, or regular brine. When I'm rescuing fish and trying to get them acclimated, I don't feed a lot. I'll feed them um, maybe once every 2 days or so. But I will give them the smaller foods or the frozen foods. I feel like they digest it better and there's less waste. Um, and obviously, with all these fish in these tanks, you don't want a lot of waste. So that's the whole key to keeping your bio load straight. If you have too much bio load and the tank can't handle it, you're gonna lose a lot of fish. I do have to go through and check these polyfill. But anyway, so I haven't done anything with these concrete yet. I'm planning on doing it, but I've been so busy doing other stuff that I really haven't gotten to it. But we will get to it eventually. Like I said, we're working on rescues and ponds and all this other stuff. So anyway, the carbentials are still in here. You can't see them. They're stupid. They like to hide. I moved them four different times, and they always hide whatever tank I put them in. I did put them in a community tank, and of course they roughed up some mollies, and so I had to move them, and they're by themselves now. And of course, if anybody ever wants to rescue these, trade fish, whatever, let me know. This is obviously the puffer, still alive. He loves his own tank. He's good. These are the mollies. I had some mollies in here that I got, and this guy's I've had forever. But there's some new black mollies in there. I didn't have time, or I didn't have really the patience to go through every single fish and separate them. So what I did is I did the best I could. I tried to keep as many mollies in here as I possibly could. You got some guppies in here, some platies. For the most part, I believe, it's just guppies and I do see a platy back there, but this is just guppies and mollies. So I know the one molly I had in there already, he's breeding. He's the biggest guy in there. He's breeding already, or someone's trying to breed with him. It's probably a female, most likely a female. But yeah, there's some guppies in there. So that's a 20-gallon tank. This tank I haven't changed. The gouramis are perfectly fine in there. I'm not going to do anything with that tank. There's a 29 gallon. Got plenty of room for them. I don't want to put any more fish in there. So, and this is the guppy tank. I've always had this tank, guys. Ever since I've had the channel, you guys know this. I'm sorry for the glass is a little dirty, but I just fed them. And the Daphnia sticks around for a little bit. You can still see it in there. So they'll eat it. Like I said, I don't want to go too crazy with feeding these guys yet. Because there's a big bio load now. I do have two what do you call it? Sponge filters in there. The old school. There's one old school, one newer one. Just gonna move this ceramic media in this tank. Sorry, I'm doing maintenance as I'm talking to you guys. But yeah, every time I come in here and I see something needs to be fixed, I do. As you see, the tank, the plants are growing back. These plants are pretty much dead, but I've been able to get them back, and it looks awesome. I'm so glad that we were able to just keep it going and just keep working at it. A lot of fish in here. Gonna be a lot of waste. Gonna be a lot of babies. The problem with some people in when they have fish is they don't know how to control the population. Now this may sound cruel, but when you have this many guppies, and I asked the lady how many times she feeds a day, and she told me she feeds 3 times a day. So when you feed 3 times a day, all you're doing is promoting breeding. Okay. Now I'm not saying you don't want your fish to breed, but you don't want your fish to do this, where you have way too many. There might be some crossbreeding in here. I don't know. I haven't seen anything that looks crossbred, but I could be wrong. I have to look into it more often, but there's some really pretty fish in there. You can see some guppies in there that are really pretty. And like I said, with this too, I may do some giving away or rehoming. I don't know yet. There's a lot of fish in here, obviously. Anyway, getting back to what I was saying, you can see some of these guppies are still are pregnant. Okay. This one here is definitely pregnant. That one back there is pregnant. You can see the bellies on them. This one about ready to give birth. The problem with that is you have usually too many babies. Now, you'd be surprised. I've had guppies for a long time. Guppies sometimes will eat their own prey and control their own population. Okay. Now, when you have too many in there, when you have too many males to females, what happens is they just continue to breed and continue popping babies out, and that's not good either. Now, if you don't feed them as much, and like I said, this may sound cruel, but if you feed them 3 times a day, you're not you're giving them every opportunity to get all the nutrients they need in their body to not only breed, but also they won't eat their prey. Now, do you want them to eat all your prey? No, but you want them to control their population. If the population is out of control, then and you have too many fish in there, what happens is that the population gets out of control, and that's what happens here. Now, I'm going to feed these guys probably every 3 days, okay, without disrupting the chemistry of the tank. But I will be, being that there's so many, I didn't realize how many there were until I put them in the tanks. I will be adopting some of these, and I will be giving them away, or I can't really say what I'm doing with them on YouTube. I'm not sure about the, whatever. So we'll see what happens with this, but they'll continue to breed. I'm hoping that if I don't feed them as much, the population will come down. Now, I've also been on the other side of it, where you don't feed enough, and like I went away one day for 7 days. I didn't feed them, and I came back, and like half the fish were gone. So that's that's another problem. You have to be able to at least maintain it. And obviously, when you guys remember when I first came to this house and built this fish room, this tank was almost empty, and we had a lot of problems with the plants. But I finally got the water kind of kind of in a good spot. You know what I mean? I got it down to pretty much a science in this room now. I do know that I don't need to use chemicals in these tanks, in this water, because the water is perfect and the fish love the water. Now, unfortunately, we lost the green terror that was in this tank. He had been sick. I've been dealing with that fish for about 10 years. I got him when he was sick. I don't think he was. I don't think the breeder I got him from bred him properly, or it was a bad bad genes. I don't know what it was, but for his whole life, I was consistently moving him, treating him, and I just couldn't keep up with him anymore. And unfortunately, he passed away. I pretty much gave up. There's nothing else I could do. I tried everything. Sometimes fish are just born that way, and you get bad genetics, and it happens. So the green terror is no longer with us. We do have the Jack Dempsey left, probably the last fish that I have is aggressive, and he's not even aggressive anymore. So he's still alive. Looks like he ate a fish, but he does that sometimes. So this fish, this tank, Dempsey, and of course you got the Baylor sharks who are doing great. You know, no problem with them. I just moved a squeaker catfish into here. I don't think you can see him in there. Been running around all over the place, but I do have a Pseudodonis in there already. But this is a featherfin Pseudodonis. Now I got two in there. He's in there somewhere. I just saw him, but we don't want to get too crazy looking for his Baylor sharks to get spooked. But and you can see I have the tops off because I've been feeding them. But anyway, he was in this tank here. I moved him out of there. I'll tell you in a second why. Trying to see if we can find. Obviously, my pleco is getting huge. Sometimes they go in the corner. I'm gonna see if I can find him. I don't know where he went to, but anyway, he'll come up. I hate when you move fish and you can't find him when you put him in there. Anyway, he's in there somewhere. I know he is. I saw him in there. Maybe this Pseudodonis is out of the cave. So anyway, so now I got two Pseudodonis in there, and I moved both of the Severums in there. The GFA is not happy about it, but you know, he's dealing with it. We'll see what happens in the future, but we're gonna keep this tank together. Of course, my pleco is still in there, doing great. Obviously these guys are still the same. I haven't moved these guys. I haven't been able to get anybody to get these fish, but polar convicts, we'll let them do their thing. I'm hoping they breed soon, get some babies, but I don't see any eggs there. These guys might be breeding in here, possibly. Like I said, I'm getting away from a lot of these aggressive fish guys. Kind of tired of them. I've been having them. I had them my whole life, so I'm kind of tired of them. So I will be at some point getting rid of them. Or if I keep them, I'll just keep them. Whatever. You know what I mean? The only thing I did different with this tank is I moved the Buenos Aires tetras. Now this is a full tetra tank, obviously. I have, you know, some other fish in there, like Danios. I got zebra Danios in there, but we're gonna keep that tank the way there's tetras and Danios. I did move my scissor tail Rasbora in there. He's right here. I had to move him in there because this guy here, the giant Danio, which I only have one left because he likes to kill the smaller fish. He killed the other Rasbora, killed him, killed the other two Danios I had in there. So, and I can't put him back in there because there's Danios in there. He'll kill the fish in there. So now he's by himself with the bigger fish. I'm actually thinking about putting him in that tank there, but I don't think. I think he'll do fine in that tank too, but we'll leave him in there for now. He's not really bothering anybody now. So this tank, now this Raphael got his own cave now. So the featherfin was taking over that. He's kind of being a little bossy, so I'm hoping that this guy will. I made this cave for him, but he hasn't really gone in there. He still hangs out over here. I think the featherfin was going in and out. So now he's gone, so he have the whole bottom to himself. And these Severums will get pretty big, probably about 8 inches, probably get the same size as the Geo. So I don't want to put too many fish in there. The angelfish are bigger now, but that's South America tank pretty much. Everything in there is a South American fish. 2 Geophagus, Severum, 2 angelfish. You got the old blue ram in there. Actually, it's not a blue ram. That's a the other type of ram. I can't think of the name of it. But anyway, that's a ram in there. Obviously, we got the Corys in there still. Corys in that big tank over there now. So yeah, we got a bunch of fish. It's like a whole fish store now. Oh, I didn't show you guys a 15-gallon tank yet. This is a tank right here. This is a 15 gallon. This is a tank I was telling about the mollies. You got a bunch of white mollies in there. I got a black molly in there. I might move that black molly into the other tank. But you know, at this point, it doesn't really make a difference. It doesn't. But they're all live bearers, guys. I didn't want to take them all, but you know, when you're dealing with people who want to trade fish or who are fish keepers, and this particular lady was actually pretty knowledgeable, but you know, I did tell her that she was feeding too much, and that's why you had a breakout of babies. You know, and again, I would love to do just tank specific, fish specific tanks, but I have to get rid of some of these guys. I'll do a platy tank, I'll do a molly tank, and I'll do a guppy tank. I'm gonna do 2 guppy tanks. I do love guppies, and obviously, as you guys know, the neons are still in here. I didn't move the neons out, but now they got some friends. But I put a lot of babies in here, and of course I got the bass still, who's still in there. I got that thing covered up pretty good, like this one. Unfortunately, that pond over there, I didn't have a cover on it. I lost about 3 or 4 of them when I was gone yesterday, but I got a cover in it now. I'm probably gonna build something tomorrow. But like I said, this may not be for long. I may just be keeping them until I find someone else to take them. And I forgot to show you guys, I did move the 14 karat gold, can't think of the name of it now, the minnows, White Cloud minnows who weren't here. I moved them into there. There was only 2 left, unfortunately. I lost a bunch of them. Most of it was because I had this tank on the back porch, and I thought that if I try to make something to cover the porch, and it wasn't holding enough heat, so I think it was too cold in there. So that's it, guys. I know some people want to know. I've been asked before if some of these platies are Mickey Mouse platies. I do not know that. I'm looking at this one here. It might be. Maybe you guys know, but you know, it might be Mickey Mouse, but they're whatever they are, they're really pretty fish. I mean, they're all pretty, but like I said, sometimes you know you may get too much, but we'll see what happens, guys. Anyway, that is the update. That is what I want to show you guys. The fish are in. Everybody's happy. We're getting the pond together right now. The frogs are out there. They're breeding, laying eggs. So once we get the frogs dealt with, we'll be making some videos on the fish. I'm also cleaning out I'm doing some work on the rocks outside. I'll do an update video on the pond, and we're gonna get that pond going. I was actually thinking about putting some of these fish in that pond out there, but I'm just afraid that it would overpopulate, and these fish would be invasive to that pond. The goldfish are too, but the goldfish have been there for over a year now, so I don't want to put these guys in there if they're invasive, and you know they may mess up that ecosystem we have in there with the frogs. But we're going to keep it the way it is, and plus the way they breed, you know, you have no way of controlling that population. They'll be breeding all over the place, and you won't be able to see who bred what and what's going on. Anyway, that's the video for today, guys. Remember, if you can't own them, rehome them. Like, subscribe, follow. We got a bunch of fish now, and I'm actually about to do some maintenance in here and check the polyfill, and then go to bed because tomorrow's Easter. See you guys.